So the title of this video is The Truth About Schizophrenia Medications like Invega and Many Psychiatric Medications. This is going to be a hard video to make. I've thought about this for literally years. Nobody is perfect and we all go through hardships in this life. This is based on what I go through taking medication as a person with schizophrenia. A lot of people like to believe that they know the answer, but this is my truth. So maybe it's not your truth, but it's my truth, based on what I've seen so far. By the way, I'm not telling anybody to go off of their medications. I may not be 100% right, but I'm not 100% wrong either. Here's my unpopular opinion, though, based on my experiences so far. I take Invega half-year. It's a 6-month injection. I've been on the 1 month, worked my way up to the 3 month, and now I'm on the 6 month for about a couple years now. Before that, I tried different cocktails of medications like that was the answer. They say they have to do it to see what works. Just before I went on these medications, my metabolism was very good. I could eat whatever I wanted and never gained any weight. Now I'm around 222 pounds at the time of making this. I notice I've been staying between 215 and 225, but I'm still overweight. I used to be skinny, and I think the medications really effed that up. Yes, I'm getting a bit older, but it's kind of weird that I didn't have any weight problems. And then I go on these medications and suddenly I do. What? I know, right? Can we I don't know, talk to people instead of drugging them up? I mean, that's like crazy, right? I've done some research on this, and Invega blocks dopamine and serotonin receptors. Dopamine is often called the feel-good neurotransmitter because it is released when we experience something enjoyable, encouraging us to repeat those behaviors. It's a key role in feelings of pleasure, motivation, and reward, and also movement, but I'll talk about that later. Also, they say Invega can make it harder to remember things, so maybe it's not my schizophrenia at all. Maybe it's these effing medications that make it harder to remember, or memory loss, or trouble with learning and conversations with other people. I have to read something a bunch of different times for it to sink in. That's part of why I'm reading this script right here, so I don't forget anything. Cross all the T's and dot all the I's. That's what I love about writing, that it'll be there when you need it, and here it is. I just looked up, does Invega block dopamine and serotonin receptors? I've looked it up before, but I wanted to confirm. I've researched a lot of different things with this video, and the gist of it is yes, it does. And while the precise way Invega helps with conditions like schizophrenia is not fully known, it's thought to be related to its effects on these neurotransmitter pathways. It blocks dopamine, and it is believed to help reduce positive symptoms of psychosis like hallucinations and delusions. End quote. I don't want to feel like a guinea pig, and I'm sure anyone watching doesn't want that either. I don't want something that is believed to help. See what I did there? I think it is a good thing for people going through very bad symptoms, but I don't think it should be for the rest of your life if you don't want it to be. A lot more on this later. You or I should have a choice. I know, crazy, right? In the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he mentioned an experiment with rats where they blocked the dopamine receptors, and the rats lost all the will to live and died a few days later of thirst because they wouldn't drink anything. What? Also, it can cause decreased sex drive in men and women, as well as sexual dysfunction in men, and irregular or absent periods in women, which I have. You can have an emotional flatness or detachment. Let me start by saying I'm not attacking a singular doctor or psychiatrist. If you have a psychiatrist, anyone will most likely tell you to stay on it because it's working. One of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of mentalities. I'm on the 6 month for a few years and I stopped getting my period. Most of the time for a few years, even now I have been lactating from the breasts. That hasn't stopped. I mentioned it to my psychiatrist and the answer was a medication. Oh, another medication I need to take in the daytime and at night. When I mentioned cutting down or stopping, they said that I've been doing so good on it that they don't want to start me on another one or stop altogether or cut down with the thought of stopping. I feel like I don't have a choice, and a lot more on this later. What happened? Well, what happened there? I got my period back for a few months, and now it's either stopped or irregular again. I haven't got it in a few months, so pretty much stopped. And I'm still lactating from the breasts. And overweight. I never had a problem with my weight before these medications. And Invega can cause anhedonia, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, a reduced ability to feel pleasure because it blocks dopamine receptors, and I have experienced that at times. Not wanting to do creative projects because I'm like, what's the point? I feel like it has something to do with my blocked dopamine. Also, Invega can make it harder to get pregnant. Also, Invega can make it harder to get pregnant, and you shouldn't be on it at all once you are because there's a chance something can go wrong. What does that tell you? I've had people at the OBGYN tell me to keep wearing condoms because I'm on this medication. So I have to do that for the rest of my life. I can never get pregnant, or if I do, I have an extra 2% chance of something going wrong. I can never experience the joys of parenthood. I guess I don't have to worry about that though, because it keeps stopping my period and they give me medication to take on top of that. Medication I need to take every day and I'm not happy about it. I get the shot because I didn't want to have to worry about taking medication every day. I take a total of 15 milligrams bromocriptine, 5 milligrams each to hopefully help with my prolactin levels, which is still making me lactate from the breast and it's still stopping my period after a certain amount of time. I take 2 in the day and 1 at night. And if I was pregnant, I could stop going on Invega until I'm done breastfeeding the baby. So I can go off it for all that time and then suddenly I have to go back on it. Doesn't really make any sense. But that's what they told me. My dose is over 1,200 something, around there, milligrams, since it's only every 6 months. That's a lot though. Invega can also cause tachycardia, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, tachycardia, which I have been diagnosed with. Wow. And looking up, it says Invega can be more severe with higher doses, which I'm on a higher dose because I'm on the 6 month. Smoking cigarettes can also cause tachycardia, but so can this medication. I also have to take another medication, 25 milligrams of metoprolol, a beta blocker for my heart until I can see a cardiologist and get a better description of what I have, a specialist of the heart, which I'm kind of afraid to go to that appointment, but whatever. More on that later. Another medication I've got to take every day along with vitamin D. So when I get up and eat, I take 1 vitamin D, 2 bromocriptine for a total of 10 milligrams, and 125 milligrams of metoprolol. Then at night, I take 5 milligrams of bromocriptine at night. My primary care doctor also wants me to see a bunch of other specialists. It feels like it never ends. While I may be working on smoking cigarettes, I wonder if it's really worth it because I'm already taking something like Invega and I don't want to be taking it, but feel as though I have no choice in the matter. What's one more thing I actually enjoy? Especially if I'm taking something I don't want to be taking and I feel like I don't have a choice. I may have I may have the choice to stop with the cigarettes, but I have no choice with the Invega. It's like anything you enjoy is no good for you and you shouldn't be doing it. That's what it feels like. It feels like they are silently forcing me to take Invega and I have no choice. I don't drink alcohol at all, really. I barely ever smoke cannabis now. I still have my coffee and tea, but all I really smoke are the cigarettes. I pretty much quit vaping too. I do care about my health. But I'm taking something that I don't want to be taking, and life is so short. What's the point in stopping? Maybe it's one of those everything in moderation type deals. Everyone has their vices. Don't tell me you don't. Whether it's chocolate cake, overeating, or even something like drinking too much coffee, like me, I'm guilty of that, too much sugar, gambling, or even character-based vices like greed or anger, etc., you've got some vices. Nobody is perfect. Also, when I take Invega, there's this big bump on my behind, as they say, buttocks, behind, whatever you want to call it, for months in the muscle where it's administered, and it slowly gets smaller over time until I need to take it again, and there's a big bump again. It's like a vicious cycle. Invega can also cause shaking and tardive dyskinesia, which is repetitive movements that typically affect the face. For example, smacking, chewing, frowning, eye twitches like that, etc. I'm always seeing it on TV and how you can take another medication on top of what you already take to alleviate those symptoms from psychiatric medications. Luckily, I don't have that yet. Dopamine also affects movement, and that's where I got into a little how dopamine affects the movement. Maybe you're saying, quote, oh, well, there's another person with schizophrenia saying they don't want to take their medication, end quote. A typical response. Well, if enough people are saying it, it must be for a reason, right? Maybe it's good in the short term to help, but not the long term, in my opinion. And I smile at my doctor and psychiatrist and say that it's working when I know in my heart that it's because I have done the work to be a better person. And I met someone who I love very much, and that has helped me. And of course my mom has been through it all with me. The very good, the alright, the bad, and the ugly, my whole life. But people nowadays are so conditioned to believe that it's all the medication making me better. They've got your loved ones brainwashed into telling you to keep taking the medication. That is the main cause of me or others being sane. And if I don't take it, I'll go insane or something. I'll go back to the hospital. And I just want to say that there's good things that doctors and hospitals do. For example, they did surgery on my neck and saved my life, and I'll always be grateful to them for that. But certain medications I just don't agree with, and that's what this whole video is about. Some people need medications in order to live, and I understand that. But I just wish I could see what I would be like just trying to go off it or cutting down with the thought of going off it, because I've been doing so good. The whole part that gets me is that I don't even feel like I have a choice. I'm going to cover more about that as this video goes on. Now we've come to the part of the video where I talk about stopping it. I started and stopped the video, so it's like its own type of thing. So it's not too long in one video file. But yeah. Make sure I did hit play. Yep, we're rolling. Okay. This is a longer type of video. most likely your psychiatrist will tell you that that's not a good idea. Not a good idea to go down with the thought of eventually going off of it. Then you get afraid that your symptoms will come back. You'll go back to the psych ward, even though it's been 5 or 6 years for me. There's still that fear. Where they'll try a whole other cocktail, different cocktails of medication. No thanks. It's interesting how I met my boyfriend, who I love very much, and I haven't been back to the psych ward, and guess what? We've been together 5 to 6 years, all same time. I needed maybe, I don't know, someone there for me to talk, not drug me up, but not everybody has that. I didn't have that back then. I mean, I did, but not the certain way that my boyfriend talks to me. Like, my boyfriend gave me a love that my mom couldn't give me. And it's like the stars like align perfectly on that day. And not everybody has that. I understand that, but it's just hard, you know. Not everybody has that. So I'm very grateful in that. I'm very grateful in that aspect of it. To talk, not drug me up. Until you finally get fed up with it and say that the medication is working in the psych ward, even if it might not be, you just want to get out of there at a certain point. Believe me, I know. I've been in and out like 12 different times in the past, but like I said, it has been 5 to 6 years. I haven't been back though. If you go off of it, you have no help with slowly coming down from the drug, because you will have wild side effects if you go off of it at all. If you go off of it all at once, they don't want to help you go down and eventually go off of it. So you have to do that yourself all at once. I need some water. Big Pharma knows what they're doing. A relapse could just be you coming off of a drug you're used to because you have no help slowly coming down. Again, no choice. Even if they might make it seem like you have a choice. It's not like they showed me a brain scan and said, hey, this is how your brain looks different. This is how your brain looks different. They did it based on my actions, monitoring me in the psych ward. Then you get afraid that if you refuse to take it, they can court order you to take it. Then you get afraid that if you get off of it, you'll lose your Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, money, because you must be all better even though it's a lifelong condition. Then you really can't live. It's harder to live with no money. Also, like, you can't choose how you want to treat your own condition, your own life, thus feeling like a guinea pig. They don't tell you straight out, but they do behind the scenes stuff like this to silently force you to take it. Lovely, right? I'll say it again. I'm not attacking a certain doctor or psychiatrist, because many of them do this, but sometimes I feel like people in general don't know what the F they're doing. People in charge of medications we take because they believe it will help. Because others before them told them it will help, and they follow the rules other people set for it. Some medications do help. But why do we need to take certain ones in the first place? We never needed them in the past. They didn't exist. I mean, I want you to think about the past. People would lock others who have schizophrenia away in facilities and pretty much throw away the key. They would give them shock therapies, lobotomies. Again, doctors believed that by disrupting these connections, they could alleviate symptoms, lobotomies, where they disconnect the frontal lobes from the rest of the brain. People would lose their initiative, severe personality changes, intellectual decline, and many other complications. Now it's in medication form. I just see people staring off into space, a shell of who they once were. Like, Who are we to decide to take someone's personality away? But we did it in the past, even now in a sense. I will say we have come a long way from the past, but it feels like Big Pharma wants a treatment, not a cure, much like finding a cure for cancer. I'm only going to touch on this very briefly and refer to it as the Big C, because I don't even want to say it, so I'll only say that word once. It took my dad, Nana, and many other people I love away. And I understand there's a lot of pain there, not just for me, for other people. Just skip a little bit if you don't want to hear this. People need to take all these medications. Now it feels like more and more people are getting the Big C. Though I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like. You see where I'm going with this. I won't mention the Big C anymore. They won't make as much money if they cure that or something like mental illness, so here are the treatment options. It's thousands of dollars for my 6-month shot every time I get it. Of course, my insurance would cover it because they know I wouldn't take it because I couldn't shell out that kind of money. Confirmation burp. I'm no professional. I'm someone that has schizophrenia and has a phone to research it myself, but that's what it feels like. A few things don't go with what I researched on Google, but most of it does. I honestly feel like I'm done doing a bunch of medical things. I just want to enjoy my life, not have to go to appointment after appointment, a specialist in this and a specialist in that, afraid of bad news, afraid they're going to tell me something really bad this time. Life is too effing short to be doing all this. I just want to live life and not have to worry about all this medical BS. That being said, I'm not going to worry about it the whole month of September and see where it goes, as well as enjoy my boyfriend Bobby and I's, Ashley, our vacation. This YouTube channel is called AshTube Talks. I'm excited that there's about 10 days, almost 9 in single digits now. Tomorrow will be 9. And my boyfriend Bobby and I are going to Disney, Florida. I'm so grateful. We have a lot to look forward to. I'm hoping to document that on my channel as well. It could always be worse. I'm just blowing off steam. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to medical appointments. It just can be overwhelming at times. For example, about it being worse, I could live in a place where I'm not allowed to voice my opinions like this. At least I have my thoughts. What thoughts aren't blanked out by the medications I take and my opinions? And I can share them and how I feel, and also with the research I've done. That's the only way any change is going to take place is if I share how I feel. And I started this on 8/18/2025, Monday at 9:08 p.m. And then I wrote this. It's 10:02 p.m. I've been writing in this just about an hour, and I produced about 1,100 words. If this was so wrong, why does it make me feel so good saying it? And why are my fingers going across the keys so fast? My brain excited and releasing with the thought of sharing what I have been thinking for so long. Years I have been thinking this, and I finally get to share it. I'm so lucky, like it was all meant to be. It's 10:13 p.m. and I've edited and added stuff a bit. Now I'm at around 1,400 words, and I've enjoyed every moment creating this Google Doc with the thought of sharing it on YouTube in the future. Why would it bring me so much joy if it feels so right to make? Some people want to believe they've got it all figured out, answer this with medications, for example, but really, I feel like people as a whole don't know what the F they're doing. They're just along for this ride we call life, just like me, just like you, anybody watching this. There's a lot of unsolved mysteries, And some things in the past were thought to be known too, until we learn more and more about it each day. I'm not 100% right, but I'm not 100% wrong either, and we shall see what happens as we live each day. 10:17 p.m. Another confirmation burp. About 1,500 words, a lot of unsolved mysteries. For example, where do we go when we die? Is there alien life? Where's God? Maybe, like, when I think I like to believe God's there, but anyways, stuff like that. I still do believe there are secret government labs where they work on stuff not released to the public yet. Stuff like cloning, having rooms dedicated to watching people on their phones, etc. But those are whole other videos. If I decide to make those, let me know if you'd be interested in that. And many more things. I edited this again August 28th, Thursday, 2025, between 4 and 6 p.m. I have more stuff to say, up to 2,500 words now. Now editing this, almost up to 3,000 words. I have a lot to say on this subject, and I'm only skimming the surface. Every time I edit this, I get so passionate about writing this. It makes me feel good that I can share my thoughts and opinions instead of locking it all up inside. Everybody likes to believe they know what they're talking about when really none of us know 100% what's going on in life to deeper questions. We're all just along for the ride. This is just my experience so far, and when I'd have my little, thought things, some people call them delusions, but I actually really enjoyed certain aspects of it. I would call them rides, and I just wanted to share that. Yeah, but this is just my experience so far. 8/29/2025, Friday at 9:14 p.m. I finished reading this for the last time, and I feel ready to share. 2 weeks off and on, I have been editing this and doing research. This is a whopping 3,500 words, roughly, maybe 3,600. Don't hate me for my opinion. This is just what I have experienced so far, and before you judge, think about it or do research yourself before you go hating on me. I hope you enjoyed the video. It sure did feel good for me to share what I've been holding inside for years. Nobody can take my opinions away from me, thank God. Thank God. Opinions can change, but I do feel strongly about this at this point in time for years. Anything else I'll put in the description of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Because I love making YouTube videos. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to be my authentic self and share my honest opinions, even if it gets hate. I'll just share it back with love. That being said, I love everybody and everything in the way it needs to be loved. I'm hoping the next video will be more light and positive messages, but we shall see how it plays out. Let me know what you would like to see on this channel. I welcome all thoughts. And bye for now. I feel like usually I do a part in the video where I speak from the heart, but I feel like I said everything I needed to say. So I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Oh, and I just wanted to say that I finished recording that at around 10:12 p.m. Friday, August 29th, 2025. And there's probably a lot of other side effects from Invega that I am not mentioning, that I just haven't researched. But if you want, let me know. But yeah, I just wanted to add that, and I'm going to make a video probably right after this. And it's just going to be a from the heart video. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description for that. I'm going to make that right now. So yeah. Love you. Bye for now. Oh yeah, and it felt so good to get that off my chest. I feel so good right now. Oh my God. Like really good. Alright, bye for now.